We have a strong leader. He has laid down exactly what he is going to do and what the consequences are. I encourage their leadership teams to get on board and to make sure that they're not pushing up prices. If prices go up, it's because of other people's reactions to America's laws. And that's what President Trump is doing. He is making sure that we're not picking and choosing winners and losers, that the law applies equally to everybody, American citizens. It applies to those who are here illegally, and our world leaders across the country and across the world. They can help us, or they're going to face some consequences.
Real quick, in case you haven't seen any of my other videos, let me explain how tariffs work. Real quick, baby layman's terms. Because what we keep hearing, and what is textbook-wise technically true, is it's supposed to encourage manufacturers to manufacture in America instead of somewhere cheaper to manufacture, like India, China, etc. All those, when you see the little sticker that says made in China or made in India, because we have a global economy, because we know other countries exist and we can all work together. But the whole point is to try and encourage businesses to use manufacturing in America, which would in turn create American jobs. But like a lot of things, on paper versus in practice are often two very different situations. So John Deere, for instance, say they're building their tractors in Mexico because the labor is cheaper, the equipment is cheaper, the parts are cheaper, and then they ship it back up to the US and they sell it to their consumer. Now they're slapped with a tariff because they're manufacturing in Mexico and that's not in America. And that raises their prices. That raises the price of importing those goods back into the United States to sell to the farmers, the consumer. The hope is they go, wow, well, if it's just as expensive or maybe even more expensive to manufacture in Mexico, I might as well move my manufacturing back to America and have it with a little sticker that says made in America. The reality is they continue to manufacture in Mexico because it's still cheaper. And then the tariff price that they are now charged with importing the goods back into the US, they pass on to that farmer, that consumer. That's how tariffs work in reality. They're not gonna change because it is exponentially more money to pay people in the United States to do the same labor that you could pay for somewhere else because the cost of living here is so much higher. And then you just pass off the tariff onto your consumer. So that $600,000 tractor is going to go way up. You're not doing anything to other world leaders, okay? All they're going to do is slap their own tariffs right back onto us, which is in turn going to additionally make everything more expensive.
Alike, and thank God for Doge. They're looking at waste, fraud, and abuse. Just got access to Treasury payment accounts to showcase all of the fraud going on, billions and billions of dollars. They're already saving billions of dollars a day. We have to look at spending. We have to look at tax cuts as well. But it's very important. There are multiple factors that go into inflation. We have to recognize that and try to fight our way forward and grow the economy in a way that wages grow with the challenges we have ahead, and that people can afford eggs and gas again. We can't do that right now until we fix the system.
Yeah, we were just looking at a scrolling list of some of the products and companies that are going to be affected, and it seems like virtually every sector of the American economy potentially could be targeted by these tariffs, and the tariffs that Mexico and Canada have now announced that they will institute against U.S. goods.
Fox News baffles me. They're sitting there saying, thank God for Doge. And then they're showing simultaneously a list, proof. Why not thank God for the Trump administration and Elon Musk and Doge? But they're saying one thing and they're showing the proof of a different thing, and their viewers are like, yeah, thank God I can't afford shoes anymore. And there are a lot of everyday people who still don't understand. There are far too many people who don't understand. But if you look at the numbers, by and large, Americans don't support the tariffs. I mean, tariffs were, for a while, a higher Google search than Taylor Swift. And Taylor Swift is almost always one of the highest Google searches you can have.
Trump's tariffs on Canada, China, Mexico. Look at this. Just 38% support. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to figure out that 51% oppose is larger than the 38% support. Look, Trump has done some fairly popular things in his first few weeks in office. This is not one of them. No, no, no. Horrible, 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 to quote Charles Barkley. The American folks are opposed to these tariffs when you ask it specifically like this about the three countries, or if you ask it more vaguely about tariffs overall, they simply put, do not like it, Mr.
It's interesting. Even with China in the question,
Correct.
People say that they are opposed to tariffs. The majority.
I guess this is what you get when you hire a failed businessman to run something that is not a business, like a business. You get screwed, is what you get. He doesn't care if this hurts his constituents, his MAGA followers who will blindly follow him to their demise, which is right where he's leading them. As long as he remains on top, as long as he climbs higher and higher and he can put the little crown on his head and say, I'm king of the world, and throw his arms out and say, hold me, Jack, or, whatever she says in the movie. He's just a big fat baby throwing a big fat tantrum because people don't always, especially from other countries, just do what Congress does and bend the knee and do whatever he says. Blaming other countries' reactions to the tariffs for the reasons that prices will go up. Some people will believe it because the mental gymnastics that they will do to avoid giving Trump blame for anything is astounding. But as you can see, most people don't agree with it and they won't believe it. The tariffs are bad. Prices are going to go up. But the point I'm trying to make here is you're not as alone as you think you are. America has done a very good job of isolating us from each other. Do you know your neighbors? I bet you probably don't. Some of you may be watching this video. Most people don't even know their neighbors, right? Most people have roommates that they don't even know that well. I have roommates I don't know that well. The point is, it's done a very good job of making you feel like you have to handle this alone, or everyone is in opposition to you. Everyone stupidly supports these tariffs. They don't. They don't. And you are not alone. And you have other people who agree with you if you would just go outside and reach out and talk to them. Community is, I'll say this in every single video. I don't care how tired you get of hearing it. People ask me, what can I do? What can I do right now? Community. If it's like in Harry Potter, if I wanted you at your lowest, I would want you to feel as though you were alone, as if you had no one. You're not alone. There's a lot of people who support you, who agree with you, and who also don't like what's happening. You are not alone.